I've never been an organized person. That's why the first time I saw the sticky note on my desk, I threw it away like I do with most of the clutter on its surface. I wouldn't even have remembered that I had done that if I didn't see another sticky note on my computer screen the next day. The note read, "You forgot to lock your door. You never know what kind of people live in the neighborhood. I locked them for you. Signed, M." After reading the note, a shiver ran down my spine. Not only did someone come up to my door in the middle of the night, but they came into my house and left me this note. As soon as I read the note, I was in my car en route to the police station to report a breaking and entering. After telling my story to an officer on duty and showing them the note, I was shocked and horrified when they told me that there was nothing they could do without any clear-cut evidence that could be used to identify the intruder. When I got back home after a 30-minute heated argument with the officer, I immediately scheduled for an alarm to be installed on my house and a new sturdier lock. My sleep that night was restless, and I woke up a few times to the sound of soft scratching, which I prayed was just a branch on the window. Aside from my paranoia, the night was quiet. No alarms were tripped, and the lock was intact and locked. Everything was just as I left it the day before, except one thing. Another note on my desk that read, "Your new locks are weak. Your security system is flawed, and your home is vulnerable. If I were you, I wouldn't feel safe in your home. Signed, M." After reading this note, I was more fuming than afraid. I was being controlled by the fear of this random person in my very own home. With the adrenaline, fear, and anger pumping through my veins, I decided enough was enough. I went out again and bought myself a small handgun and 4 home security cams, 2 of which I would position outside and 2 inside, one pointed at my desk. That night, I fell asleep feeling the safest I had in days. My ears strained for a disturbance while I was practically cradling the gun until I finally passed out. In the morning, the first thing I checked was my desk. Sure enough, another note. Cameras outside, cameras inside. I've also noticed you've brought a firearm recently. Are you properly trained? I'd hate to see you pinch your finger in the chamber or shoot yourself between the eyes while cleaning it. Signed, M. Of all emotions I received from this note, grittiness was the strongest of them. I was finally going to find out who this person was. The cameras were rolling, and one of them just pointed straight at the desk. I ran to the kitchen table and began to pour through the footage from last night that I had present to upload live to my laptop. My heart was pounding as my eyes strained to see any change in the dark background of the room and desk. Then, at around 3:35 a.m., my heart dropped. An arm reached up from underneath the desk and gently patted a little yellow sticky note on the edge of my desk. It was then I heard a soft scratching from the other room. I shut my laptop and slowly made my way over to my office. When I reached the entry, the scratching stopped. The few moments of silence that followed were excruciating. Every second felt like an eternity, and my head began to spin. Then a crack and a creak as one of the floorboards was lifted up an inch, and a grimy hand intruded and left another yellow sticky note on the floor in front of my desk. Frozen in fear, I could already see what was written in the handwriting that I was unfortunately familiarized with. I'm starting to think you don't want my help. Why? I just can't imagine. After all, our home is much safer now. Signed M. As I stood there petrified with terror, I picked up the unmistakable sound of the scratching of pencil on the paper coming from underneath the floorboards.